and ancestors would talk to her and say, look, we really want to use you to help us release some of our rage. Because the way it translated all the way down to generations was it became sexual abuse. You understand? So, but they were nervous because they said, how do we know that if we let out our rage, that you'll be able to protect the people in this small group? Lori was so cute because she said, well, tell them that Merlin is one of my guys. We really and they were like, who the hell is Merlin? Actually, a couple of weeks later, the way it translated all the way they talked to her and said, oh, we looked up Merlin. We know who he is. Anyway, so during this person's breakthrough, she's like bows and arrows and hatchets, you know what I mean? And when her breakthrough was over, she looked like a cheesecloth with a lamp behind it. And I've had several situations where ancestors of different people, like for example, after that breakthrough, the Hawaiians said, we're so impressed with Gary and Lori, we want to teach them the original version of Ho'oponopono. Does everybody know what Ho'oponopono is?
Yes.
Okay. So one night in the hot tub, they literally sat there and taught us the original version. It's amazing. Anyway, I'm very clear about the effect that if you allow your ancestors and descendants to have direct access to your experience, they can help you in ways that nobody else in your life can.
Descendants.
Yeah, your ancestors and your descendants.
Well, I got the ancestors, but the children and the grandchildren that are coming along, and
That will be there someday.
well, they're there now. But
Yeah, what I'm saying.
their children, like great-grandchildren.
Yeah, all of them.
Okay, they're
Yeah. So I'm going to take a moment of silence, and I want you to set your intention that your ancestors can have direct access to your value tonight. Good job. Okay. Now I want everybody, let's see, from Leslie that way, okay? I'm going to have you guys for new skills that you're going to be doing twice a night in Movement to Mastery, once before the break and once after the break, okay? So from Leslie over this way, you guys all do, and Cherie, if you don't remember, you would just do an awakening style declaration or something like that, or a pinnacle of prelude, you know, that kind of. Okay, go. Okay, MC. I don't remember. You should have written it down, but I think it certainly would not hurt.
Actually, I remember saying no.
Okay, for Kevin over that way. Now you guys do your new
Somebody.
Let it go. And so I had to.
Wow! Somebody stop me!
To get my makeup.
All right. Come on, Lauren.
Because I got it done.
Oh, I feel so uncomfortable doing this. How? Somebody stop me! Somebody stop me! Come on, if you don't like it, then go!
Okay.
Yeah, truly. All right, you did it.
So tonight I get to share with you a revelation that changed my work 180 degrees. I call it the revelation of our perfection. So understand that when I went through CDU Foundation with Mel Wasserman as a teenager, 19, 20, 21, everything in my field was very attack and counter. And still today, many workshops that you do in the world are confrontational in nature. You know, take responsibility for your life, that kind of thing. The idea back in those days, in the early development of this work, was that if you confront, at some point they crack, they open up, they get vulnerable, and they get down below the surface to that which is real, authentic, right? Then you can patch them up and, you know, have a new direction to go. So back in those days, a group would look like, the facilitator would say, let's pick on Leslie. And then everybody would start telling Leslie how full of shit she was.
Wow. You just did.
And at some point, if she's lucky, as soon as possible, she starts to cry, open up, tell the truth, and then everybody patches her up.
Bit brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal. It's like brain surgery with a hammer.
Yeah.
That was the early days. So, you know, I got really good at those techniques, because at some point I became a facilitator in CDU. And, you know, like most good facilitators who've been through that, I could look at a total stranger, slice them and dice them, have them in tears within 5 minutes, and then patch them up. Okay? Matter of fact, I'll tell you a quick story. At one point, it's an evil act.
Yeah, it is.
It took me years to develop. Anyway, so I'm working in the jail downtown. I'm doing what's called own recognizance. In other words, people who are generally pretty reliable and credible and have a job and all stuff. I go through the checklist, and then I say, okay, you're free to go on your own recognizance. You have to be back at this time, you know. So I was working in an office just off the jail where they have the cage with all the sheriffs and the people who intake them. Well, generally policemen, like my dad was a cop, he was a great cop, you know, there are some really good cops, but generally policemen are men who kind of got stuck in about 3rd grade, you know, and they love macho and power, you know.
Yep.
So every time I walk into the cage, somebody would be making a joke, and more often than not, it was about the guy who was a bit slow. And he would try to laugh it off, but you could see he was dying inside, right? So one day I walk in, and he's about to burst into tears, and they're all just being incredibly cruel, you know, and I had enough. So I used my skills from CDU, and I just slice and dice, slice and dice, slice and dice,
Nice.
slice and dice, every single one of them.
Nice.
Pretty much on the verge of tears now, right? And I just like, you know, how dare you pick on somebody like this? You know, what kind of man does that make you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I go back to my office.
Nice.
The next day, I think 2 of them came and apologized, and the rest of them never looked at me again. Anyway, so, Gail?
I was just wondering what is the purpose of slicing, dicing, and rebuilding it back up?
To get you underneath your defenses. In other words, you know, when you're in your conscious mind, you do your act, your shield, your defenses. You have a facade that you promote all the time without knowing that you're doing it. So it's to get you underneath that and get you down to what's vulnerable, what's real, what's authentic. You know, it's a different version, you know.
Well,
So-
it's done to me. I just never understood why.
Yeah, you said you had it done?
I've had it done.
Oh, yeah, in one of those
Several
workshops?
Kind of workshops.
Yeah, confrontational style workshop, yeah. Anyway, so,
One of my understandings of that is, I totally agree with you, but a lot of that is to promote the bonding, because when you have a group of people that all get broken down, then it's like the military, they break them all down
That's
to
what I
build them
was
up,
thinking.
to build a bond as well. That's part of it.
Yeah.
So,
anyway, so now I go to a place called the Center for Feeling Therapy in LA, and it was people who had worked under the greatest therapists in the world, like Arthur Janoff invented primal therapy. His brother, Al Wasserman, was actually Mel Wasserman's brother,
right,
you know, and I had gone through Mel Wasserman stuff. So these therapists at this place called Center for Feeling Therapy, they had worked under Fritz Perls, Virginia Satir, Milton Erickson, just the giants in my field at the time, and they were all in one community. So one day I was going to one of their intensives, and I was in a room, and Steve Gold was the guy who had actually taken John Lennon through primal therapy, and he was my therapist in that circle. And he was working with some lady, and her big hang-up was being overly critical. And she had a hard time talking about this big hang-up that she had, being overly critical. And all of a sudden I had a revelation. The revelation was that when she was a kid, she was so delicate, so sensitive, so tender, that when that got slapped down, her energy went in the opposite direction as being critical, because when you're critical, you can get them before they get you. See what I'm saying? But I suddenly saw that all hang-ups are energy, which is gifts and strengths and talents that human beings have, and when they get slapped down, that energy goes in the opposite direction as what we call a hang-up.
It's a defense mechanism, isn't it?
Defense mechanism. Patterns. In that moment, what I realized is that human beings don't have hang-ups. Human beings are perfect. Every so-called hang-up that they have is a great gift or strength or talent that has been slapped down by the world and goes in the opposite direction as what we call anxiety or overweight or depression or whatever. Doesn't matter. Every one of them is a great gift, strength, or talent in disguise. At that moment, I wanted to stand on a mountaintop and shout to the world, guess what? There is nothing wrong with us. We are perfect. We just need to have permission to express our strength and our talents and our gifts. And the so-called hang-up disappears because it turns back into what it was.
How do you know, you can see our hang up, how do you know what the sweetheart message is, or what the strength, talent, or gift is to it?
The book I just finished a year ago is all about this. It's all about how do you move out of fear and into love and play. So I'm going to take some excerpts out of the book. In a minute, I'll go through some of them for you. Other than that, you need to have a lot of experience as a facilitator to be able to recognize that. Like when I give you guys fundamental dominoes at Lava, you know, pretty much nobody else in my organization or my work or anybody I've trained does it as well as I do, because it takes a lot of experience to do that. Okay, but I'm going to give you some really good examples. Okay, get a partner and share with your partner any thoughts or feelings about what I just said. Go.
This is supposed to be the way that
It's great to hear you talk, but.
each one of us. And when you come into the world, you are molded in different ways.
Yeah.
As a child, you get certain directions from yourself. As a child, you know to cope with certain situations. You learn you're not
We have to figure out how to
such
and that's the course corrections.
That you feel like
And I think I did it. I
some people will totally go with themselves. Like my kids are like,
Okay, wrap it up. You know, it's really fascinating that with most of my friends and people I care about, like even my wife, there are lots of examples where she'll see the world in a certain way, and it causes her certain kinds of grief. And I see things in a very different way, and it affects the way that I feel about life and people, and you know how I stay in a certain love space. Okay, because when you have a new level of perspective, you have a new paradigm of perception. And if there's a way to shift your perception by merely looking at life in a whole new way, you can dramatically transform the results in your success, in your business, in your money, with your children, and especially in your love life. That's what a new paradigm of perception can do for you. So that's what I'm trying to get across today. So what if every problem, upset, self-defeating behavior, or so-called hang-up in reality was a great gift, strength, or talent and was simply being blocked from expression? What if every hang-up that people criticize themselves for simply represents bottled up energy? The same energy that is being pulled back like a slingshot in a self-defeating direction can be let go of and fly that far or farther in a self-empowering direction. What if all human defenses, like dysfunctional behavior, self-invalidating mechanisms, are merely indirect ways of requesting something very positive, sweet, and wonderful? What if every human imperfection is the suppression of our perfect nature? What if every vicious or apparently uncaring behavior, when boiled down to its essence, has a sweetheart message within it, a message of love? The more indirect the message from its true form, from love, the more distorted and destructive the delivery. Each of us, in essence, is a sweetheart, even the most distorted. What if every pain and agony we feel is the exact reflection of how sensitive we are, how much we care, how delicate, tender, and full of heart we are? What if the greater the turmoil, the greater the reflection of our sensitivity, our magnificence? What if our pain, our agony is the exact reflection and proof of our immense goodness and inner beauty? Question?
Can we get copies of this quote, please?
It's really nice.
Maybe. Oh,
It's on Amazon.
it's in the book.
It's on Amazon.
Buy the book. That's why I wrote it. What if the one who acts like I don't care is the one who cares too much? What if the one who is most critical is the one labeled, or the one labeled as the witch or the jerk, actually comes across as sharp and prickly because they are so soft and tender on the inside?
Do the people that are, I'm going to call them the jerks and the witches, do they know this, or is it just
No,
okay?
not a clue.
All right, that's what I was.
Most everything that I'm saying here is reality, but people who are that way don't have a clue that that's what it's about.
They're just ornery.
Yeah, they just think the world is a certain way and they have to be a certain way in order to survive.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Just clarifying.
What if shyness covers the strength of clarity and sensitivity? If you want to know what's really going on with somebody in a group, ask the shy person. They know. What if the worrier has the ability to concentrate with focused action can create results? What if loneliness is the ability for deeper relating? What if guilt is unexpressed power, the ability to get on track and go the distance?
What was that one?
Guilt. What if blamers actually have the ability to make life better? What if frustration is the electrical juice necessary to ignite committed action? You know, the best parents are those that know how to frustrate their Children the right amount. Like a Nintendo game. It's not too hard. They can get it, but they have to work to get it. And then the next level, and the next level, the next level. What if underneath the depression is the power to create a new level of meaning in life? I think most of you have heard me talk about how I've had clients who were on depression medication for years, and using tools like moving their emotional energy and things like that, they were able to get off their meds within a month and a half. Many times depression is the fact that the old life isn't cutting it, but the new life hasn't shown up yet. And it's that limbo that gets people so depressed. What if the secret weapon to losing weight is to own the gift within the weight, the great gift of unexpressed wanting?
Wow.
So skinny people know that.
Can I use you as an example, Holly? At one time you weighed like, what, 300 pounds or something? Right, very heavy, okay? Now, obviously Holly is a really huge spirit. She's a really bright light, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Which means that she wants everything. wanting is one of her great gifts. Just like anybody here who's overweight, that means that wanting is a great gift of you. But in our culture, wanting is not acceptable. Reality is that Holly wants everything. She wants it for everybody, and she wants it right now. Right? That's one of her great gifts. Wanting. But the gap between wanting and being able to express that wanting or actually getting is the weight. If she was a lesser spirit, she wouldn't struggle so much with it. But she's a big spirit. She has a huge amount of wanting, and like most human beings, doesn't know how to get as much as she wants.
How do you get as much as you want?
Huh?
How do you get as much as you want?
Mostly through the kind of skills that we're teaching you. Like full self-expression, asking for what you want at 100%, having a voice, standing in your truth, honoring your truth, all the stuff that we teach. That's how you get what you want. That, before you came, the year before you came, I had a third of my. It was a huge group. It was like 20 some odd people, and a third of that whole group, without trying to, lost between 30 and 90 pounds. That wasn't their goal. It was a side effect. Okay. What if anxiety is actually the power to accomplish? What if those with the self-doubt, and you see me do this in workshops, that they are stupid are actually the most brilliant in the room? What if those who have a secret fear that they are unlovable are actually the most lovable in the room? What if your greatest doubts are exactly the opposite of your true self?
I'm badass. That's what it means.
That's reality. What if the Wizard of Oz was right? What if our greatest challenges are our greatest gifts, and our greatest gifts are already within us?
That's really powerful.
It would mean that ultimately there are no real weaknesses, no real hang-ups, no real self-defeating behaviors. Ultimately, there is no real bad news. What we view as hang-ups in truth are tremendous psychological strengths which we have simply never been allowed to express themselves. Once the strength is utilized, given the room to express itself in one's life, the so-called hang-up literally disappears into thin air. It becomes exactly what it was to begin with: a great gift, strength, or talent. I'm going to make a proposal that very simply, you are magnificent. You are a unique expression of a perfect love. Sometimes you express that perfect love imperfectly. You are the love which is perfect, not the expression which is often imperfect. Get a partner, share with your partner, go.
Hey, Gary, you said at one sense, our hang-ups and something are hang-ups and something
Huh? What am I learning? I've heard part of this before. I've heard most of this before. That all hang-ups are gifts, talents, and strengths that are redirection in the opposite direction.
yeah,
This is the one that I haven't heard before. When you have a new level of perception. You have a new paradigm.
See that really doesn't.
You work with
That portion I have not heard before. That's what that's the takeaway that I have. You've been through this one before. This is actually before. Are you getting your rate? Are you going to be in this message? Many times. You prove that. So you can't use that. You can't use that. Yeah, you prove that. You can't use that issue. Right.
What did I say? You have told me I need to use my voice. You have told me that I need to be comfortable with myself. You have told me. You have told me a lot. If you listen to me, say you told me those things, almost in those same exact words.
Well, that's very nice. You cannot create or destroy energy. Just recharge. That's Einstein's second law. You can create or destroy energy. You can only mutate it.
Yeah, I know
That's the quote.
That's not the quote.
This stuff is hard.
Einstein's quote.
So I wouldn't.
You cannot create or destroy energy. You can only mutate it. Transform it. I'm using it. Yeah. That's Einstein's second law.
To be intuitive. To be in touch with your intuitive self. Trustworthy. Somebody's going to show some. Otherwise, we die.
I found it that.
I just thought I did.
So it's a matter of seeing you give strength and talent. Underlying, they just take
Okay, wrap it up. Okay, this is called Love is the Truth. Truth without love is a lie. Love is the truth. Spend your time only with those who love you. Seek out the truth only from these. Love without truth is a lie. Truth is love. The truth of those who love you gives you the space to be. Given the space to be, we can learn how to be. We can learn the true nature and joys of being. In the joys of being, all things will come to you.
It's beautiful. And is that from the book?
I'm hearing something. What am
It's
I
my
hearing?
telephone on a speaker.
So they're talking.
Can
That's
you not put it
Jason's
on
voice.
speaker?
I don't know how to use these,
Go ahead.
this old technology.
Okay.
Excuse me?
It's like a,
In the joys of being, all things will come to you. All love, all wisdom, all success will come. And only to the extent that you can learn true being. Being is not trying to be anything. Being is the essence of play. To play
Are you still there?
is to be. Being is freedom, no matter the cage or limitation. Being is fulfilled while it includes all thoughts and feelings and gets stuck in none. Being is self, the individual self that is the channel to the infinite absolute self. It is by being true to oneself that we access the door, the channel to infinite self, to the source of all being. In being, every right now is a sacred privilege. In being, every right now is an opportunity to love.
That's my dream.
that's profound.
Yeah. And that
Good
is
dream. Huh?
That's from the book.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Wow.
So, Garrett, if we want your book, can we just pay you for it? I don't want it on Kindle. I want a hard copy.
Yeah.
Sandra Malbaum gave me a site that I can go to have them print out individual books. And as soon as I have a moment where I can do that, or if somebody volunteers to help me with that, I appreciate it. Then I'll have them at the back table and people can buy them like that. I just need to do that.
I'll volunteer. I'm researching it anyways, and I'll be happy to.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I need
How much are they?
info.
$10.
Well, I don't know what we pay for them individually when we put them
Yeah.
individually,
So
but
put on
I'm
demand.
guessing it'll probably be $10 or something.
Well, I'll get, I will investigate and tell y'all as soon as I know it.
I'll just send me an email, remind me to send you back the link that she sent me for that site.
Yeah.
I think it was Amazon, but it was like a part of Amazon that does the publishing.
Actually, my coach just sent me a bunch of those sites as well, so I
Okay.
will look at the best one for you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
Yay,
Um,
thanks, Linda.
We'll take care of that, because that would be very nice to have it.
Physical.
Yep.
So if we give you $10, can someone email it to us and then we can have it at our house?
Well, let's make sure we have all our ducks in a row.
Yeah. When? That's the
Yeah.
kind of time.
I mean, I'm happy to have you
I just don't know what I'm.
pre-purchase and all that stuff. I just want to make sure we can promise and we can deliver. Okay, this next part is called the power of intentions. Intention is synonymous with energy. Synonymous with personal power, synonymous with self-esteem, synonymous with confidence, synonymous with integrity, synonymous with what martial arts call chi. It is the life force that is the essence of all beings and all life. It is your true self, the heart of the human spirit. In the beginning was the word, not the kind of words coming out of my mouth. Intention. In the beginning was intention. So, pure intent is where your power lies, your ability to accomplish, your ability to influence. Pure intent is where dreams live. Pure intent is the source of your integrity, the source of your willingness to keep your word, to keep your agreements. It is, which is the great key to making your business flourish. Pure intent is the source of all your results. How do you know what you truly intended? You know by the results, by how it turned out. Here's a quote from Werner Erhard.
Could you repeat that one more time, please?
This last one. Pure intent is the source of all your results. How do you know what you truly intended? You know by the results, by how it turned out. How do I know if you intended to increase your income? You increased your income. How do I know if you intended to fall in love? You fell in love. How do I know if you intended to be on time? You were on time. It's like that. Believe me, if you think you really want that, but the rolling them into one to enroll to you. Intent is the source of your how to communicate, to get through potent and powerful ways. Intent is what sources our greatest leverage in accomplishment of our legacy, our and the context for our daily lives. Are you your fear? Movement. You will discover that most are more committed to your fear than your forward movement. And still am. Get up here and share with your partner. Just recently.
And that's how I whatever. Course corrections or something. And so, okay, wrap it up.
Throwing a lot at you. Any questions about
It,
And our here, by practicing, oh, right?
material like that? Like I always have somebody listening to their speeds, watching some, started doing some of the personal power stuff, and to something once. You know, I listened to it. Oh, I think I've listened to Your Wishes, Your Command, I don't know, 20 times.
Yeah.
You know, I listened to CD of, you know, one about probably close to 100 times. I repetition as a way. It's like my Carlos Castaneda books. I could read those 2 or 3 years. The same book.
It's a,
What was it? First
doesn't have to
time.
be bigger.
So my main answer, you know. Any other questions?
When you when you have a new level of, it gives you a for love. Yeah.
For
Several other things, but in love.
hard to understand.
by merely looking away, you can dramatically transform in success and money, with especially your love life. You have a new perspective, new paradigm of
Okay, and you talked about paradigm before. You talked about you can write something down on a piece of paper and somebody else and
a whole new paradigm.
Somewhere along here, because level of perception, new paradigm.
Well, everything I've been saying, the perfection of human being is the new paradigm.
Oh, thank you.
That's the new level of perception. Sometimes my wife talk about somebody she's counting on the news. You can tell her